Tonight, the 2020 special, David Muir reporting, Breaking Point, Heroin in America, starts now.
Tonight, in suburban neighborhoods across America, the calls are coming in.
An overdose.
All of them, heroin overdoses.
21-year-old male in cardiac arrest from an overdose. Got a 50-year-old male will overdose. 69-year-old female.
Possible overdose.
And in Manchester, New Hampshire, we're there when a panicked driver calls 911 with what he finds at a busy intersection.
And I got a white male, approximately 25 years old. He's blue in the face, so I need help now.
You can hear him trying to revive the young man.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Across town, veteran medic Chris Hickey gets the call.
How quickly do you have to get there if there's a chance of saving this person's life?
Within the first 5 minutes.
I think we're getting an overdose right in the middle of the road.
We arrive, and there he is, the young man in the street.
Yeah, we just took a long day at work.
They believe his heroin addiction so strong, he couldn't wait to get home from work before shooting up in his car.
Yeah, you sure you didn't take anything?
Yeah.
We're not the police. You need to tell us.
No, I know.
And we meet that panicked driver who made the call.
I came around, so I'm slouched over at the wheel.
A father on his way home from work. He says he gave that young man mouth to mouth because he knew what he was witnessing. In New Hampshire, it's everywhere, even in his own home.
You know something, I lost my son to a drug overdose. Thank God I didn't have to do what I did for him. I miss him dearly. We need to do something. We have a problem in our country. We have to do something about it. Period.
For more than a year now, 2020 tracking the explosion of heroin in America's suburbs. 129 people die every day from drugs, the vast majority prescription pain pills and heroin.
Is this a neighborhood here where you'd find it?
There isn't a single part of any community that's untouched.
We're from a typical small town.
Very safe community, very trusted community.
We've met so many parents, families, blindsided.
Spencer's world was football. The boy loved to play.
Courtney was a lot of fun. She would bring a smile to everybody's face.
Richie was very excited to go off to the Marines.
They never thought heroin would take hold of their children.
Spencer got hurt in a game.
He obviously was prescribed some painkillers.
The OxyContin.
Over the course of a year, we see there are no boundaries. Rich, poor, the middle class. The same story, prescription pills, then heroin. Far easier and far cheaper to get.
Spencer switched over to heroin.
Heroin.
The police came to my door at 1 o'clock in the morning and said my son was gone.
Drug overdoses are now more deadly than car accidents and guns in this country. And tonight, you're about to see the struggle in real time.
I love you.
We meet Aaron Smith, just 22, a young husband and father who loves his boy, Camden.
What?
But Aaron is at a breaking point, and he knows his son's future, his own future, is on the line.
Everybody thinks their kid's the cutest in the world, but I literally have the cutest son in the world.
But Aaron also carries with him something else.
More or less, this is all you need. Literally, that's a tool of the trade.
Aaron is a heroin addict. It's only been a year.
It snowballed really quickly to the point where I'd get up every day and my number one task was heroin.
Like all of those families, he tells us prescription pain pills came first.
I started with Percocet.
Then the heroin. 4 out of 5 new heroin users start off with prescription pain pills, the same opioid fix. His parents tell me they just want their boy back.
Before this heroin had taken over, Aaron was a wonderful kid, a great kid to be around. I miss that about him.
Put in drive.
Aaron wants that back too. He wants for his son the childhood he had. That's Aaron right there, number 7 on the football team, the player who grew up being shuttled from game to game. In grade school, meeting the girl who is now his wife, Caitlin Norton.
We've known each other basically our whole lives. He's just a good person, like genuinely a good person.
Aaron knows, they all know, that this is a crucial moment. He will lose his family if he doesn't get better. Calling for help for weeks now.
Consistently now, it's been about 3 weeks every day on the phone. Literally any place you can think of within 300-400 mile radius.
But Aaron hears what so many hear. The waiting list, weeks, if not months. New Hampshire ranks 49th in the nation for access to treatment.
Okay.
But we're there when he finds a bed.
I just got a call from Phoenix House and awesome. They're gonna accept me. I'm so happy. I finally am getting in a place. There's an end to this madness. This is unbelievable.
But will Aaron make it 48 hours until he gets to that bed? And you're about to see what happens.
If I don't get better now, I'll be dead. That's it, period.
So close to treatment, we witness the mind games.
I'm planning on throwing these out tomorrow, so before I go to treatment. It's unbelievable how tough it is just to get rid of these, because like I want to get better, but then it's like, what if I relapse? It's scary, but yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of them right now. Actually, I should probably wait because I really don't want to throw them in my trash.
Aaron tells us he's now in withdrawal. The grip heroin has on the body is punishing.
It just beats the hell out of you. It feels like I was beaten with a sledgehammer.
And we're there when he begins to call around for heroin.
I don't know. It might be a 20. I might need a 40. I'm going to have to see, okay?
Whatever he can find.
Oh, here he is. Hello?
He works for his dad.
Hey, Dad, what's up?
And he tells us he needs to get that paycheck.
Yeah, I was just seeing where you were at. All right, I love you. Bye.
His dad has the money, but his father also knows what he'll do with it. Aaron tells us he's been stealing from his own family.
Family members that you once loved, all they are to you is a money sign. It brings you to something lower than a human being. I'll be right back.
Even with no money, we watch as he heads down the street to find a friend. Listen to what he tells us when he comes back.
He helped me out. He did. He gave me a little bit, so I'm feeling much better now. It's literally instantaneous. It's messed up. Like it literally just gets you normal, and it's really disgusting. Like I need it to function. You know what I mean?
But just moments after shooting up, it hits him. He breaks down, knowing he's just 2 days from treatment and using again. And he starts telling us about his wife. She's
Everything to me. I just don't want to lose her. She's the mother of my son. I don't even think I'd want to be alive if I don't have them.
Caitlin, the mother of his young boy, has already left for treatment herself. She too began with prescription pills and then the heroin. So close to getting help too, Aaron knows these final hours before treatment are critical. He has overdosed twice before, and his father told me what it was like to find him.
He was gray. I yelled for the phone to call 911, and I proceeded to give him mouth-to-mouth. He was not breathing, and I couldn't feel a heartbeat.
Can you tell me what that's like?
It's probably the worst thing I've ever had to do in my life. Was giving him mouth-to-mouth. I said, is this how it's all going to end, right here in my basement?
The paramedics arrive with the drug Narcan. It reverses the effects of a heroin overdose.
And he came right through. And he went from being flatlined dead to standing up, walking, and looking at me and talking. And I was obviously elated he was alive, but heartbroken, you know.
Did he say he was sorry?
Yeah, he did.
Hello?
Now, months later, and just hours from treatment, desperate to talk to his wife, Caitlin, who is still in rehab.
Could you ask her, like, if she's just, like, taking time to herself or something, if she could just call me? And
she is now refusing to take his calls, knowing her own recovery depends on it. And we witness his evening ritual, looking at the photos of his boy, who is now living with Caitlin's family.
This is last 4th of July, before he got his hair cut. See, he's always got a smile. See, he's a big boy. Literally the best day of my life. I actually sit here all night, every night. I go on this and just go through the pictures, because it's the closest thing I have to them right now. It's okay if I'm gonna close this for now. I don't look at it anymore. Feeling like this now, it just makes me want to get high even more. I know it's destroyed my life, but right now I just want to get high so I don't have to feel like this.
When we come back, just 24 hours before rehab.
Perfect.
And his trip to find his boy Camden, what his family tells him when he comes for his boy.
Why do you do this to me? Come on.
And later tonight, the youngest victims. As we look for solutions to the heroin emergency here in America, following so many families at a breaking point. We're back at Aaron's father's house in Seabrook, New Hampshire. And remember, he has 24 hours to go before rehab.
See, he's a big boy.
He has shown us the pictures of his son. He's back on the phone.
I was gonna come see if I could come meet up with you for a 40. But
he believes this is it, the last of the heroin before he gets help.
This is what runs my life. That's what they call China White.
China White, he tells us. Authorities know what he's talking about. Heroin that is now often laced with something even more dangerous, fentanyl.
It breaks up very easy.
Fentanyl is used by hospitals for pain, 50 times more powerful than heroin. But the fentanyl now found mixed in with heroin on the streets is cooked in makeshift labs.
It's crazy how you get excited doing this. It's embarrassing saying that, but it's a fact. Dirty old cotton. Look at that thing. It's a small one, but it'll have to do. Might help the sweats already.
He walks into the bathroom, where he shoots up.
Wasn't much, but it gave me a little rush. I'll get better. I know I will. I need my son in my life.
The next day, he goes to Caitlin's family, his in-laws, to visit his son. One day before rehab.
What? Why are you upset? I will.
They have told Aaron they will allow him to see his son one more time before he goes away.
Did you miss me? Huh? No. What? Go get your car. Let's go get it. Get in, put it in reverse. I was going to rehab for a month, so it was a good surprise I get to see him before I leave. I'm not going to be able to talk to him, so this is great.
Hey, Cam, how you doing, buddy?
Can you say hi?
Cam. Hey, Cam.
And with Caitlin away at rehab, her father tells Aaron he will not get his son back until he's clean.
You know, my daughter ain't gonna put up with it, his wife. He's gotta be clean, because she's gotta be clean.
For so many families dealing with heroin, it is a vicious cycle.
Let's go. We're gonna go inside for a minute.
And here, it is about to erupt.
Is there any Alka-Seltzer here, Roxanne?
Inside the house, with his son not far away, he closes the bathroom door. And his mother-in-law knows what's happening.
Can you please stop opening the door? What's the last of it that I have to get rid of before I go to treatment? Why do you do this to me? Just step out and I'll talk to you in a minute. Well, thank you. Come on. I have to find out if they're staying up here tonight or not.
Outside, his father-in-law tells him he's not welcome here tonight.
Well, you ain't staying here.
All right.
The struggle faced by so many American families.
Let's go.
When tough love is all you have left.
I gotta go find a way home. I'm kind of screwed. I don't have a place to sleep tonight, so I gotta go find some place.
Don't let this make you go off and...
It ain't gonna change. Like, I'm still going to rehab and everything. It's just an obstacle.
With his son at the door, his mother-in-law asks him, how many more times will you put the family through this?
We've been dealing with this for what, over a year now?
I know, but my thing is...
We don't get stressed out either.
I know, but I'm saying the whole problem exactly with this.
We don't handle it well sometimes, but this is all kind of new to us.
Trust me, I don't want it to be like this anymore. And every time something comes up that's stressful or anything, I have to go stick a needle in my arm.
That's why I say you gotta make sure you get there tomorrow.
Hey,
I know.
well, I'd leave at 5.
And then his father-in-law suddenly gives in, telling him he can stay only if he's on his way to rehab first thing in the morning. The next day, his brother waiting to drive him. Aaron shows us what he's bringing.
I ain't bringing much. I got my AA book. Packed some envelopes so I can send my wife some letters.
But we would learn that this isn't all he has. Aaron has quietly found help on Facebook. From a stranger, a mother turned advocate. We went to find her, Carrie Norton.
I definitely knew that he was wanting help.
She helps young people find treatment.
He's making all these calls and trying to get into places.
She knows this is the moment when they break through or they unravel. And Aaron leaves for rehab.
All right. Worried how I'm going to handle it. This drug has taken a year from my life, but that's all it's going to take. All right. I'll see you guys later.
We watch as they leave. But what would happen after that Jeep drives away? It would change a family forever. Back in Seabrook, New Hampshire, that moment, 22-year-old Aaron Smith in that car, his brother driving him off to rehab.
I'll see you guys later.
Aaron and that wave. It was the last time we ever saw him alive. He went to that rehab facility, a 28-day program, but he only lasted 3 days. Like so many residential facilities across this state, they couldn't provide medication to manage his withdrawal, to specifically help wean him off the heroin. And advocates say that medication is critical. Aaron died of a heroin overdose 8 days later. His father, out of town, gets the call.
5 o'clock in the morning, I'm boarding a plane in Dallas Airport. And my son Ben calls me, and he says, "Dad, Aaron overdosed again." And I says, whoa, what do you mean? He says, "Aaron overdosed again." And I automatically was thinking, okay, what hospital is he at? Where did they take him? And he says he didn't make it. I had to keep going through to get on this plane to get home. There was nothing I could do at that point. It was the longest 6 hours of my life, that flight.
You never think it's going to happen to you.
Their son Ben, an Army medic who served in Iraq, found Aaron.
Are you convinced that given the system the way it's set up now, that there will be other families just like yours?
I am thoroughly convinced that there are people right now that have lost a loved one today in the state of New Hampshire. That's been the average of one death a day.
And on this day, it's their son. They gather at the funeral home, including the woman Aaron found online, a perfect stranger, a mother, a nurse, who helped Aaron through Facebook find that bed.
I don't want it to feel normal that people are dying.
She had met Aaron and Caitlin, but she never met Aaron's family. She and her husband walk into that funeral home. And we see Aaron's wife, Caitlin, after her rehab for the first time.
Thanks for everything you did for him, or tried to.
We have to do better. He wanted to get better. New Hampshire has not provided the access for his treatment that he deserved. I'm Carrie.
I'm so sorry. I will fight for him, I promise you.
She writes, "I will never forget you." And for Carrie, this is personal. Just months earlier, her own son overdosed on heroin. Spencer survived. He's now in recovery.
I'm sitting here in profound sadness while everyone has just lost an amazing person, and I feel guilty because I'm just like, thank God it wasn't my kid.
Caitlin allows her son Camden to say a final goodbye to his father.
Mama.
He draws a heart for him. "I love you, Daddy." We talk to Caitlin, who tells us she got the call that her young husband, the father of her boy, had died with a day left in rehab herself.
You don't ever think it's going to be you or somebody that you love, somebody close to you. And it's real. I mean, here we are.
She tells us she could not take those calls from Aaron for her own health.
I had to set those boundaries with him because I mean,
she wishes he'd been able to hold on during treatment like she did.
you see things so much clearer. Like I can't put that on the line and go back to everything just because of love, really. I mean, I hope he knows how much I loved him and cared about him and wanted him to get better. That's just what I wanted, you know.
And weeks later, we find Caitlin again, more determined than ever to break free from heroin for good.
Here we are.
This is the home where she's now living with other recovering addicts who help push her.
And this is my bedroom that I share with a roommate. This is my clean time app. Okay, I've been clean 1 month, 13 days, 17 hours, 41 minutes, and 25 seconds. Boom.
We stay with Caitlin on her journey. Can she hold on?
Hi, Mary. My name's Caitlin Norton.
And when we come back, this young couple and a decision they're about to make in this moment. It will change the course of their lives. And later, something we had never seen before. The moment an alleged heroin dealer walks right up to our camera and what he's about to tell us.
I like her, but I love heroin.
You are looking at one of the youngest victims, 3 days old, just 4 pounds. He doesn't even have a name yet. He's already facing a battle, shaking, crying, a rapid heart rate, his little body in withdrawal. And Carrie, that nurse, that mom-turned-advocate, is right there in the room.
Is this Grayson? He looks like a Grayson.
Here in America, every 25 minutes, a baby is born dependent on opiates. At Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center, they show us how careful they are with the morphine that helps wean newborns from heroin.
So what is this here?
So this is morphine. It's got 0.5 mLs.
And how old is the newborn?
6 day old.
6 days.
And tonight, the story of this baby girl, who we have agreed to call Chloe. She was one of those babies, and look at her now.
Boo.
2 months old, those beautiful blue eyes, and that smile. And you're about to witness her young parents in the fight of their lives, both recovering heroin addicts in New Hampshire, and both are determined to stay clean for their baby. But as we would see over the course of months, both are about to be tested in ways they could not predict. Will their heroin come back to haunt them? 21-year-old Savannah is in treatment. She quit heroin during her pregnancy. She wants for her baby girl some of what she had growing up.
I was a good kid. I didn't stop playing with dolls till I was like 14. I was pretty sheltered.
She was 18 when she met Matt. He was using and selling. And soon, she was using too.
I don't remember that, but...
You can't tell we're high? I look back and laugh at the dumb shit I did now. One time is all it took, and within a month, I was shooting up. I was so oblivious and high all the time that I didn't even realize I was 5 months pregnant.
She had no idea. But once she learned she was carrying a baby girl, she stopped the heroin.
This is my Peanuts bedroom. Matt did the border.
The wall reads, sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart.
Oh, look at the big smile for Dad.
Matt now earns $10 an hour, fixing tractors, loading hay.
Hey, princess. Heading off to work. Love you.
A stop home for lunch.
Tell you something, Amy. I lift hay bales that are anywhere between 40 and 65 pounds. I feel good about it every day because, I've earned everything I have, everything that's here, we've earned.
He makes just enough for the rent, the food, and perhaps most importantly, for the prescription that Savannah needs to stay clean.
This is Subutex.
Subutex is a medication commonly prescribed to recovering addicts to curb withdrawal. Studies show that pills like these can double or triple the chances of staying clean.
Thank you for calling CVS Pharmacy.
I have a prescription.
I only have enough money to pay for her daily dose. Her daily cost is $17 a day.
I want to go to CVS right now anyway, so it works better for tomorrow night anyways. Thank you.
Every day, Savannah counts the money.
4, 5, 6, 16.
We watch as she scrounges to find $17 she can only afford to buy one dose a day.
There's a quarter. I'm like 50 cents short. I'm literally gonna give them pennies and they can get over it. I'm just gonna dump these all into my change pouch. I'm gonna have to give them pennies. It's expensive these days.
We're with Savannah as she takes the daily trip, the half-mile walk to the pharmacy.
This is my lifeline, my Subutex.
She takes the pill under her tongue.
How many are you gonna take? Just one. It takes like 30 minutes to completely dissolve, so it makes me feel like, it's like, what am I'm still having to use something every day, you know? Yeah, it's legal and it's not heroin, but I still have to take it every day or I'm sick and I need it. What's the difference really, right?
When there are no more pills, she immediately starts going into withdrawal.
No.
This is just 12 hours after her prescription runs out.
Welcome to Dope Sick. My pills run out Tuesday evening, and I don't get any more till my appointment today. I feel like a hot sack of right? Restless, it's nauseous, it's your stomach, it's your head, it's your body.
There you go, man.
You're a piece of crap, dude.
What?
You're a piece of crap. Would have been nice to have some help from Mama, but that's obviously not happening today. Because you really think it's my personal choice.
Wednesdays are sometimes a rough day for Savannah. She can get pretty cranky because her medication gets prescribed on Wednesday, and it goes from Wednesday to Tuesday night.
We watch as they run late.
Got everything. Let's go.
About to drive nearly an hour to the only treatment program they could get Savannah into. This is where Savannah gets counseling, medical checkups, and that prescription she sorely needs. When she walks in, this week's session has already started.
How are you feeling today? And any abuse of substances?
Oh, I've been pissed all day. I've had a hair across my ass since I woke up. And so has she, clearly.
Kathy Milliken runs the group at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center, and she tells us she's witnessing an emergency.
You started to see this wave of mothers coming in, young moms.
Absolutely. Young moms struggling with opioid addiction.
And listen to their honesty. This is Stephanie.
I'm addicted to pain pills, opiates, pretty much whatever I can get my hands on.
Savannah tells the room she knows they are selling heroin right on her street. Her neighbors, school teachers, retirees, a nurse, and the heroin dealer is literally next door.
Very eager to just, here, you can have some.
And do you think people don't realize? I mean, this is everywhere. It's hiding in plain sight.
This does not discriminate against anybody.
Back home, Savannah is left to do the work from that therapy room on her own. And we watch as she tells Matt she needs a break from the baby.
No, I'm fine. I don't want to leave the baby up here. She is fine. I fixed her all up, so she's fine. I'm not coming up.
Matt tells us he knows the cycle, and he's simply waiting for the medication, the Subutex, to kick in.
It's not going to hit her for 20 minutes or so at least.
And outside, remember, she told that room she knows how close the heroin is.
That is the cap to an insulin syringe. I mean, a needle.
And we see it ourselves. Paramedic Chris Hickey shows us the needles, the toolkits, children and their parents often finding them.
You've got families calling you saying there are needles at the park, needles on the Little League field.
And he tells us that if the needles are everywhere, so are the dealers. And those dealers can pinpoint who's most vulnerable. We watch as this man walks right up to Savannah. Despite the camera, listen to what he tells us, how easy it would be to give Savannah heroin. And once she's hooked again, more business for him.
It's like a pyramid scheme, okay? Like, I'm at the top, I get it from wherever I get it from. The more people I can get to sell and buy off me, the more money I make. Which I don't sell anyways anymore. I got a job now, but...
So even though there's like this beautiful new young mother, you would still try to like pull her back down?
It's not about who I am or being
I like
a
her,
mother.
but I love heroin.
They're dirtbags. I don't associate with those people.
When we come back, we witness the biggest test yet for this young couple and their baby. Will their past, will the heroin come back to haunt them? Now living heroin-free and raising their baby, Savannah and Matt have turned a corner.
Those two are my favorite. None of this would be possible if we were still using.
But Matt knows he still has a major hurdle: criminal charges back in Vermont related to the drugs.
Going to work and, trying to maintain a sober, happy, healthy life is the right thing to do, and it's the hard thing to do.
It is also hard to face your past, but he's about to. He hears of a new law back in Vermont that gives some addicts the chance at treatment instead of a cell.
They're trying to get addicts help instead of putting them in jail and then just, keep repeating the cycle.
But he knows there is a good chance he'll be separated for a time from Savannah and the baby.
Hey, Mom.
They will live with his mother in Nevada if it comes to that.
What day will you get here? 10:30 at night on the 22nd. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later, Mom. Love you.
I was able to see my daughter born. I was around long enough where she won't forget who I am. I got to see a lot of good milestones. Her first teeth come in, her sit up for the first time.
Her first word.
Yeah. And
She's a mama.
Just days now before Matt turns himself in, his mother, Pam Bowman, arrives to help.
You're not taking it, throw it in there.
Pam is a licensed nurse who works with babies born addicted. We can see that Matt is anxious, carefully picking out his tie for the judge.
Probably gonna wear this blue tie, babe. There's two here. What do you think, man?
Yeah. I am losing my mind about being separated from Matt because I have no idea how long or how short it's going to be. Love you.
Love you.
3 days later, we're with them as they arrive at the courthouse, unsure of Matt's fate or the fate of this young family.
When we made the decision to get clean and go to rehab and, try to change our life for our daughter, we've worked nonstop since then to become better people. And, she's the love of my life. So I'm taking care of what I have to right now. She's the reason for this whole thing. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. Maybe send me back to rehab, maybe make me do some program, which, I've been in this far anyways. The worst that's gonna happen is they're gonna put me in jail and I'm gonna do some time and be strong for her.
The thought of Matt being sent away is terrifying for Savannah.
It's the best decision for our family. Remember that, okay? Doing this for us. I don't want this to ever be part of her life.
A kiss, and it seems the baby reaches out too.
Take her, please. It's okay, Savannah. It's okay. It'll be okay. You got my mom. You got my sister. You got her. It won't be that long. Okay. I love you.
Love you too.
Matt, with his court-appointed attorney.
He came back to Vermont at this point because he believed that he was stable enough to be in this environment and not relapse. And he wants to get these original charges resolved.
The hearing takes a punishing turn.
I don't think he has the option of just simply walking out and walking into court when he so chooses. You just cut off all communications with your probation officer, who arguably could have been of some help to you as to your drug issues. I'm going to set bail of $5,000.
It is money they don't have, and Matt is taken away.
Come on, let's get her out of here. We don't need to be sitting here. It's just going to make it worse.
We walk out with Savannah and the baby, now both with Matt's mother, leaving the courthouse, unsure when they'll see him again.
This moment is the hardest moment of my life. My heart breaks for how he's going to feel without his daughter, or how his daughter's going to feel without him. It was the right decision for our family, but it's a lot easier said than done. We've tried so hard and we're such different people. I feel alone.
They leave in the pouring rain, and they have no idea what awaits them in Nevada. 2 months later, we go to Nevada to check on Savannah, and we only find Pam. That young mother, no longer getting help from that treatment program back home, is now missing.
Come on, baby.
It's been weeks now, and she's left the baby with Pam. The only clue she's okay is this image that just appeared on Facebook. Her baby, now without her.
I think about Savannah every single night. She's 21. It bothers me, but I also have to have that fine line.
Pam files for temporary custody of the baby. She now needs to find Savannah to get the baby's birth certificate for custody.
9-month-old baby that can't make choices for herself. So if I have to step in and make those choices for her, I'm going to. So that's where we're at this point.
Pam finds her at dusk in a pharmacy parking lot.
What is a good number to contact you on? My attorney's. Okay, we're going to set something up with the judge for you to have visitations. Okay. It'll be supervised visitations. Most likely, you can come over to the house by yourself.
I've spoke with my lawyer.
Yeah, it's going to go like that.
He says that I have full custody, and actually,
you don't.
I filed on Monday.
Yeah, we know
you
didn't file.
Oh, you don't? No, I didn't.
No,
because I really did. Look, I have the copy of my paperwork.
Okay.
But Savannah is unable to produce that paperwork.
I've spent $250, so I think in custody of my daughter.
Okay, we'll see you in court.
When we come back, where we find Savannah months later after walking off into the night, and what would become of that beautiful baby girl. Here in Manchester, New Hampshire, they're now on track to have their deadliest year yet from heroin. And they are trying to stop it. New Hampshire spends 20 times more on law enforcement than on drug treatment. You'll remember Matt and Savannah. Tonight, Matt is still behind bars, and we've learned Savannah is now behind bars too. Her life unraveled since we last saw her. Their baby marking a birthday with her grandmother. And we go to the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency, to ask what many are now asking.
And a lot of people are going to say, can we arrest our way out of this?
We cannot. This is a medical issue, this is a public health issue, and it's a law enforcement issue. Everybody has to come together on this. It's in their town now. It's coming to their doorstep now.
Because he says the cartels behind the heroin, nearly all from Mexico, are now targeting the communities here in America most vulnerable. Tonight, paramedic Chris Hickey is in waiting